Welcome, this is We-On-Loc Nation with another video, and this time we're going to be talking about crisis here in America. The title is what it is. And just in case you haven't felt the sting of society already, Donald Trump just made a visit to that other side of the bridge to make peace with Israel, to ensure that Israel makes peace. I don't know why. I don't know what it is with Israel, but I gotta be careful with my words because this is YouTube sensitive. You can't talk about certain things on that other side of the bridge, if you know what I mean. But we're going to get into all that. We're going to get into Jasmine. We're going to get into Stephen A. Smith's little rant. Trust me, this is going to be a doozy. But I got to go to my sponsors. This is Hatersville. This is a sponsor called Hatersville, where all the haters of Jasmine Crockett express their feelings about the representative of the 30th district.
Jasmine Crockett. She wants to be, I don't know, like this caricature, right? Like this ghetto boothang, like, hey, look at me, I'm some gangsta black bitch, and, you know, I'm about to pop a cap in yo ass.
Jasmine Crockett, who is, I thought, a big leader in the Democratic Party. Her quote is, "This is a terrible nightmare. Somebody slap me and wake me the fuck up because I'm ready to get on with it." On with what would be my first question. And also, this is the way this is like how a podcaster talks or some shit. Fuck it, man. Can you imagine, I don't know, Obama saying, "Oh, man, dude, this shit is whack and fuck it. You slap me, I'm fucking over it." I mean, come on, man.
Every time Jasmine Crockett opens her mouth, she exposes herself as the most fraudulent member of Congress. Everything from her fake wig to her fake accent. And I'm not even being mean when I say that. This is a woman who went to elite private schools, went to a top-tier law school, but still would rather portray herself as a cast member of Real Housewives of Atlanta than a member of Congress. I think that's absolutely absurd. Yeah. And so I think to hear the story that, you know, she's bullying her 20-something-year-old congressional staffers and having them treat her like she's the president of the United States, maybe in her own mind, but only thing that she will ever be president of is the president of the Bad Wigs Club. And that's all I have to say about that. Bad wig.
Damn. Yeah, he's gay. All right. Now on to let's get into the juicy stuff. Stephen A. Smith just caught backlash last week for going on his little rant about Senator Jasmine Crockett. She's gonna be senator one of these days. I just hope she just takes the whole tray and just becomes president of the United States and just runs the country as she sees fit. But that's just me. I'm promoting it. I'm doing what I feel is right. But this cat here, he's an opportunist, a capitalist, so on and so forth. Negro should just stick to sports. But you know, he's going on the run. Let's just see what this man has to say. For all case and purposes, I am exercising the Fair Use Act. Fair use, fair use.
Public figure in essence, not just as a representative, but speaking out on a plethora of issues involving the current administration and the White House, et cetera, et cetera. And I made some noise last week because I had the temerity, the unmitigated gall to say this about Representative Crockett when talking about the state of our politics in the midst of a government shutdown, by the way, that has unfolded since October 1st. Take a listen to what I had to say last week, please. You Jasmine Crockett or somebody like that. Ladies, I respect. intelligent women, no doubt. But how Jasmine Crockett chooses to express herself, I'm like, is that going to help your district in Texas? Aren't you there to find a way to get stuff done as opposed to just being an impediment to what Trump wants? How much work goes into that? I'm just going to go off about Trump, cuss him out every chance I get, say the most derogatory, incendiary things imaginable, and that's my day's work. That ain't work. Work is saying, that's the man in power. I know what his agenda is. I'm not exactly in a position to stop him since the Republicans have the Senate and the House. But maybe if I'm willing to work with this man, I might get something out of it for my constituency. Because like Joe Manchin said, he's there to represent, or was there for 15 years to represent, the people of West Virginia. She's supposed to be there to represent the people of Texas. I don't know. Maybe that just sounds ignorant because it's so simple. But it ain't that damn complicated. We make it complicated. Damn, it's frustrating. It really can be. And all the verbiage and all the nonsense that I've heard over the last few days is why it can get exhausting. Because nothing frustrates me more than when people have the truth at their disposal and they choose, maybe not lie, maybe not even embellish, but allow their emotions to usurp facts, and all of a sudden want to use that as an excuse to label me as being something and doing something I'm neither not nor have I done, which in this case is disrespecting Representative Crockett out of Texas, who, by the way, has had an invite to this show for weeks, by the way. Governors Josh Shapiro and Spencer Cox came on this show. Senator Lindsey Graham came on this show. Joe Manchin, now retired, came on this show. Bill O'Reilly, Bill Maher came on this show, okay? And more coming. And she has an invite. And AOC has an invite. Hakeem Jeffries, Democratic House leader, he just was on this show. I've invited Jasmine Crockett. I have nothing but respect for her. I just disagree on what she's making headlines for, because I think it's counterproductive to the ultimate goal. But yet, here we are, and the word disrespect comes in, and people try to engage with words, you know, like disrespect and implying misogyny and all of this other nonsense. Stop it. Stop it. Can we be grown-ups and deal with what the real issue is involving what I said? Willie D, Roland Martin, Bakari Sellers, and Angela Rye, who I have profound respect for. I mean, the list goes on and on with all of these people. I don't have their names in front of me to my producer that texted to me. I don't have my phone on me right now. So I apologize for not having those names in front of me. But I'm what are we talking about? How's it?
Just for the record, I have my suspicions about Willie D. I have no comments for the time being, but I have my suspicions. And I have my, certain comments about Willie D.
It's disrespectful to say what I said. Could you just disagree? Could we just say, yo, Stephen A., I disagree with you. Here's why. We got Willie D. Put up that quote, please. He's putting out quotes or text or tweets about me. Let's see that again. Stephen Smith at Jasmine Crockett ain't just messy, it's weak. Dude is sitting on one of the biggest mics in America, and instead of using it to uplift, he's tearing down a black woman who's out here putting in real work. That ain't critique, that's betrayal. What happens when a paycheck gets louder than the principal? That's sucker shit, straight up, end quote. Wow, Willie D, you sure are uplifting. I mean, I got to be touched. That was inspirational. Really, that really, really was. That was inspirational. I'm doing sucker shit. That's what you call inspirational? That's what you call uplifting? Really? Now, I haven't heard everything that Roland Martin said, D.L. Hughley had to say, and all the other names that I mentioned, but I'm sure it's along the same lines. None but respect. First of all, I'm going to be very, very careful about anything that I say about Roland Martin because he's a friend. I'm going to be careful about anything that I say about D.L. Hughley because I have respect for that man. We've spoken a few months ago. I got nothing but love for him. I am concerned about him not making people laugh and smile as much anymore as he used to because he's more of an activist now than a comedian, but that's a choice and that's his right, and nothing but love for him and respect. Mm-hmm. And anybody else too. My issue with Bakari Sellers is how he talked about me without ever speaking out or reaching out because you don't like a position that I took before or whatever, but you want to come on and sell your book after. See, I don't play that nonsense. I don't like that. Disagree with what I said. Say why without all the other nonsense. Got nothing but respect. Willie D got over 1 million subscribers. Man, props to you. Doing your thing. Wishing you nothing but the best. Not getting in all that nonsense. But let's deal with what I was saying, please. Can we do that? Can we be real? So let's take it. Let's take it back. Let's look at the resume of Jasmine Crockett. 30th Congressional District. By the way, the two senators that represent Texas is Senator John Cornyn and Ted Crockett. So you got them in Texas. And they're doing their thing. Right? What are we talking about here in terms of Jasmine Crockett's district? 750 30th district, vibrant. From the University of Houston. She's licensed to practice law in Texas, Arkansas, and the federal courts. So this is an accomplished
Arkansas? Oh shit, bad.
Woman. Ain't nothing about her stupid. Ain't nothing about her something to dismiss or disrespect when it comes to.
Oh, but wait a minute, Stephen A. When it comes to Bill O'Reilly, she's stupid, she's dumb, she's ignorant, she has no idea what she's talking about. Oh, when it comes to Sean Hannity, when it comes to all these particular cats, including the director of the, I think it's director of the FBI, some chick named what, Pamela. I think she's, I don't know, I don't give a shit. The director of Pamela Banji threatens her on national television. And what are your words for her? What are your words for Bill O'Reilly, who is your best friend? Quote unquote, your best friend. I'll get the fuck off.
Her resume. Let's get that out of the way so as to make sure I'm not being disrespectful when we're talking about her, okay? What's her reputation? Crockett's performance in the House, according to research, and her success in delivering wins for her district is quote unquote mixed. She's active, ambitious, and visible, exceptional when it comes to fundraising. But many of her major efforts are still works in progress, bills stuck in committees, introduced but have stalled, etc., according to Congress.gov. I'm just reading. She faced similar difficulties as a state rep. The Texas legislature's sole black freshman had big plans for her first session. She ended up mostly playing defense, according to them. And what the implication was is that while she's great at fundraising, the challenge for her was cultivating relationships in Congress. And what does that mean? Potentially going across the aisle when you don't want to. Potentially going across the aisle, okay, when it might be in the best interest of the 750,000 constituents you represent. We know you're a Democrat. We know how disgusting and vile you find the president to be. You've told us on more than one occasion. What I was saying was, where's that going to get you when you're so willing and so apt to verbalize it the way that you choose to verbalize it? How is that going to be productive to your constituents?
I guess I could tell you how. It's very productive in a way, for the simple fact that not only, by the way, she's an attorney. You forgot she's a district attorney and a civil rights attorney in 4 different states. It's contingent for her to have that position because it's fact. It's an actual fact that Donald Trump is a liar, a cheat, a no-heaving scoundrel, a piece of shit, a marksman, a fascist, or whatever you. I'm still trying to learn that fascist stuff. I don't even know what a fascist is. A fascist, a rapist, and a pedo. And you don't find that suspicious at all? You don't find anything wrong with that, Stephen A? It's quite interesting.
You have every right to feel the way that you feel about him. You have every right to do everything that you can to vote him out of office, or in his case, the people that are under him, the J.D. Vances of the world, the Marco Rubio of the world, and others. You have every right. You should be.
Why does everybody have to play by a rule? Why does everybody have to play by a particular rule that white folks put in place for you? You're smarter than that. I guess you weren't smart. I guess you weren't smarter when Ray Rice hit his now wife, and you said the things that you said, but you got suspended for it. Because white folks particularly smacked you in the face, woke you up, smacked you again, and you was out for a whole week, and you came back and apologized like the person that you are. I want to be careful. I want to choose my words carefully. Because you know how YouTube sensitive this shit is. But yeah, that was your position. What is your position now? We got to get in where we fit in. If we got to put on the dress, then God dang it, we got to put on the dress just to get noticed. Just for them to get a little bit of respect. I can't stand niggas like this.
Yeah, doing everything you can to win the midterm. But what I'm saying is, where is her rhetoric going to get her and the people she represents in the 30th congressional district in Texas? What am I talking about? To my producers, could y'all play the clip when she's talking about the president as an enemy of the United States? Could she play that, please?
Your reaction to his appointment?
He needs to go. I mean, this is very simple. We right now have a white supremacist that is sitting in the White House. He is backed up by other white supremacists. And if you really want to know who the criminals are in this country, you can Google it. You don't have to trust me. But the people that commit 80% of the most violent crimes in this country are white supremacists. Yet for whatever reason, they sit and they serve at the pleasure of the president. They are the ones that were there on January 6th, tearing our democracy down physically. And now we have them tearing us down right here from within. Here is the problem.
Of course, Congresswoman, to interrupt you, but President Trump, of course, has denied any allegations to the white supremacists, and that's why he apparently fired what he. I know your point, but he did fire Darren Beatty in reaction.
That's what a child does. That's what a child does. The child he points and he did this to me, mommy, daddy, he did this to me. You're fired. When he was 20, yeah, you want to make out? No, you're fired. In his 30s, hey, we're gonna make some money today. We're gonna steal from these big corporations. No, I don't think that's a good idea. You're fired. 60s and 70s. I'm gonna start firing. I'm gonna start not getting along with Mexicans and black people, but I can get with Snoop Dogg real well. I can get with not Ice Cube, but some other guy. I don't really follow all that shit. And Martin Luther King Sr. I can get along with them real well. Oh, it was Yeezy. It was Yeezy. Yo, remember Yeezy? He's sitting up there with his coon ass just smiling and grinning. I never seen a grin like that. You sellout puss. But that's who Donald Trump is. Donald Trump has reduced himself to a child yet again. And rumor has it that he's sick. But let me not make fun of him. Let me not make fun of him because he made fun of Joe when he got sick. And let me remind you on something. If it wasn't for him getting sick, I'm talking about Joe, and I didn't vote for him, by the way. If it wasn't for him getting sick, he would have won a second term. Guaranteed. If it wasn't for Joe getting sick, he would have won a second term. But he was senile. He couldn't. He barely could talk. And of course, I ain't forgot the chick's name. But Kamala Harris. She ended up taking over as vice president. And we already know that story. But they were not. The white supremacists, they were not going to make her president of the United States. It was not going to happen. They were going to go through hell and high water. Why do you think they cheated? This whole election was rigged from the beginning. Why do you think they cheated? It wouldn't. I told Lisa too. It wouldn't even matter if she would have won. She won in the popular votes. But the Electoral College was the only thing that was standing between her and the money that Donald Trump was dishing out to these lawyers. I told y'all this wasn't going to happen. But if Joe Biden were healthy enough, he was going to win. Hands down.
Believe in part to his attendance at that conference. Does that change your opinion in any way?
No, it doesn't change my opinion.
So that's the first clip. There's a president in the United States that you're calling a white supremacist.
Welcome. Welcome to the We-On-Loc Nation channel. Hey, Ali.
And you're saying that the people who work under him are that as well. While you're in the government needing assistance from that administration to get things done for your constituency and beyond.
Oh, there's the cop out. There's the cop out right there. That is such a whiteout. Oh, you call them white supremacists. but you need the constituents and you need the assistants and the constituents and the assistants. Why are you calling about the white family? Why don't you go on your own? That is such a coonish move. That is such a coon move.
Okay, that's clip number one. Play clip number two, please. A full-fledged criminal. Play that, please.
Not our democracy. Well, he did say he'd be a dictator on day one. Oh, Democrats, it's just Trump. He just talks. Well, let me tell you something. He is doing more than talking. We talked about Project 2025. We talked about the consolidation of power. We talked about how he wanted to be a king. We talked about in a democratic republic that is not what it is. We have some sort of checks and balances. Is doing everything that he can to get rid of those checks and balances. The DOJ and the people that he's going after were simply doing their jobs. The problem is that Americans thought that it was okay to take a full-fledged criminal and make him the president of the United States, and then they want to act aghast when he does criminal things. Let me tell you, we have a thug in charge of the United States, and if we don't wake up, we may not have a United States, because right now he has only been successful in being a divider in chief.
Jasmine Crockett for president of the United States of the free world. Clock it.
So you care about facts, meaning the Democrats, and the Republicans don't. Okay. That's another clip. And by the way, full-fledged criminal and thug. Those were words. How about this one where she called the president a piece of shit? Play it.
Because the Supreme Court has paved the way for half the stuff that we see that's going on. Listen, Donald Trump is a piece of shit. Okay, we know that. Yes, yes. He is.
Put a one in the chat if you think Donald Trump's a piece of shit. Yeah, I'll put one in my goddamn self. What the fuck? One. Put a one in the chat if you think that's a piece of shit. But, of course, Stephen A.
Shit. That's what she said. That's the third one.
What's his point?
There's another one here.
Does anybody know what this
where she's talking about how the GOP doesn't care about facts, but the Democrats do. You just heard that. There was also another one where she called them again a white supremacist. But it didn't just stop there. She went to her own governor of the state of Texas, who's in a wheelchair, by the way. Keep that in mind. And listen to what she said about him.
We in these hot ass Texas streets, honey. Y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now. And the only thing hot about him is that he is a hot ass mess, honey. So yes.
Governor Hot Wheels. And the only thing that is hot about him is that he's a hot ass mess. And that's going to serve 750,000 constituency in the 30th district of Texas.
Yep. Yep. And let me tell you why. She is very enjoyable. And by the way, most of you white folks take things real literally and real seriously. But you have no problems calling somebody a nigger every once in a good while. I mean, take it with a grain of salt.
That is what I was saying. Never mind what she feels. Never mind whatever level of justification you may have towards feeling the way that you feel. When you're in her position, that's not going to get you anywhere. That's what I was saying. What I was saying was, this educated, brilliant black woman representing over 750,000 people is engaging in verbiage and rhetoric for the streets. And that's fine when you're in the streets. How many of y'all bring the streets to the table when you at the nego trying to get a deal done?
That's
how many of
basically
you
Stephen A. Smith kissing white ass. Just
are able to think that for a second that you're able to bring street verbiage to Capitol Hill and that's going to work for you. You literally have Senator Hill on the side of the Republicans telling the networks, whether it's Fox News, News Nation, or anybody else, please, please, please put her front and center on camera. Why would they do that? Because they know it wins for them. And what I was saying was, I appreciate her passion, her intellect, the fact
that listen, I wouldn't want you praising me and then talking shit to me at the same time. That's just like saying, Lisa, you a piece of shit. Oh, I love you. I love your hair. Does that make any sense? Tell me that make that logical sense, people. You just go and dry snitched on her, but yet she is the greatest brilliant mind of all time. You need to do better than that.
fact that her heart and her willingness to be courageous and all of those things are in the right place. But my God, isn't it about winning? How about positioning yourself, since Jasmine Crockett was on the record stating that we got to keep our eyes on the federal courts because the conservative federal courts are putting forth rules and regulations, policies, and fiduciary and judicial things that serve to benefit one side of our country, but not necessarily all sides. Well, wouldn't that mean that you'd want to become a judge? You are a lawyer by trade. You are licensed to practice law in Texas, Arkansas, and the federal courts. Wouldn't you be somebody that we'd want on the courts, or at least on committees, having a strong arm towards dictating who ends up on the courts, not just the Supreme Court, but federal courts throughout this country? Because that's what senators do, right? Wouldn't you want to position yourself to be able to beat a Ted Cruz or a senator?
She was going to put, like Donald Trump was going to put her in position to be that. Or even AOC at that point, or anybody who has ever talked shit about Donald Trump. Everybody's talked shit about Donald Trump. Even Mark Cuban, owner of the Dallas Mavericks, has talked shit about Trump. And he's a billionaire. What am I talking about? He is a billionaire. And they wanted to take his seat away from him. They wanted to ban him from his own shit just because he was talking shit about Trump. So you actually believe Stephen A. Stephen A., bring your stupid ass here to the congregation. Come here. Sit right here. Sit right here. Not on my lap, motherfucker. I ain't gay. Sit on this table right here. Look here. Do you absolutely believe in your heart of hearts that Donald J. Trump, Fred Trump's daddy, Fred Trump's daddy, Donald Trump's son, was going to put Jasmine Crockett in a position of power? Hell to the no. What kind of joint are you smoking, sir? See, this is the problem. This is the problem with niggas like this. This is the problem when they you know what you're trying, you know what you're getting into, but you don't know what the exact words to say. And this is the reason why you got in trouble with LeBron James. And you got basically got canceled by Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant don't like your ass. LeBron James don't even like your ass. There's a lot of basketball. The only person that you have in your crawl is Allen Iverson. And deep down inside, Allen Iverson don't even like your ass. You stooped as low as the lowest common denominator that there is. You stooped that damn low because you now want to belong. You wanted a piece of that pie. I know. It's about to be wintertime, and you got to keep getting that paper, boy. That paper can't be low. The paper cannot be low. You are in position, my friend, to become somebody. And it damn sure ain't no Officer Tatum. Well, I have to admit, you're a little bit smarter than Officer Tatum. That's not given a farce, but let me continue.
Core 9? I'm talking about winning.
Winning what?
I'm talking about winning.
Winning what? Wait,
and listen.
Wait. Shut up. Winning what? What are we winning? What will we win under Trump? Oh, a nuisance around the neck? What will we win? Another Trayvon Martin assassination? What will we win? You can't talk about that. Charlie Clark was assassinated. No, he wasn't. He was murdered. Fair use purposes. I'm saying this for fair use, fair educational purpose. YouTube. I'm saying this for educational purposes only. This dude is he's a capitalist, all right, but there's another name for it. Now, I can't say it right now. Steven's just a sports vision. Steven's just a sports vision. She did when she is in Congress. Steven, idiot. She is in Congress, Steven, you idiot. Damn right. It's like, what the fuck? What the hell is he talking about? She's just going to move from the 31st because she's not going to get that back. She's going to move from the 31st to the 33rd district, which is a more smaller district, but hey, that's where she lives. Mind you. That's where she freaking lives.
I voted for Kamala Harris. And I voted for her because I said, even though I wasn't fond of her as a candidate, I certainly thought that she would be more willing to work across the aisle and work with more congressional and Senate representatives than he would. I certainly felt like we wouldn't be hearing words like authoritarianism and dictators and stuff like that. I knew that. So I get where you're coming from. But when you talk about we're honest, they're not. Were you honest when you chose Hillary and you shoved aside Bernie Sanders as a party?
What?
Were you honest when you chose Biden and you shoved aside everybody else because it was his turn? Were you honest?
What? Lisa, please help me. Help me, please. Help me. Why is his tongue? Lisa, help. I don't know what that got to do with it. Help me, please. Please help. This nigga's lost it. This nigga's lost his mind. Ah! You know how kids have the long drool. I don't believe he voted. I don't believe he voted for Kamala. He's one of the morons who thought. I haven't heard that word in years. Damn, I haven't heard the word moron in years. Jesus, who thought not voting was a good idea. No, he's always been a Republican. Well, let me take that back. He's always been on the side of anything that made money. Why do you think he's a capitalist? Why do you think he is a capitalist? Let's move on, because I gotta get a drink out of that bullshit.
When you bypassed a primary and made sure to ensure that Kamala Harris was the Democratic nominee for the presidency of the United States, when all of you knew, you knew that Biden was finished. You knew he had no business presidency. You knew that you could have influenced things in a way that would have forced him out. We would have had a primary, and the best candidate for the job would have been running against Trump. The other is the conservatives. The elite shows Democratic side election process, and you have the audacity to talk about how others are a threat to democracy. Where's the consistency? Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me that the Democratic Party hasn't catered to elites every bit as much as they've accused Republicans of doing all of these years over the last 3 elections. And we're not just doing what we want to do because we control the party, we'll manipulate them. Tell me that they having folks, not specifically y'all, but folks like y'all, to sit up there and how things go down. I didn't diminish you, your intellect, your soul, your heart, your conscience, and whether or not it was in the right place. I'm just talking facts, bro. If not older. You're a grown-ass man. What's up? That's all, I mean, that's it? That's what you got? He's being disrespectful? How am I disrespectful? If Jasmine Crockett was in my face right now, I would thank her for her service to our country, but I would ask her respectfully, how do you think that's going to work? Manipulate stuff. You know how they take sound bites. You know how they can make anybody look.
So this is my take. This is my take on this. Stephen A has given up. He's been given up. How are we supposed to learn anything from our enemies like a Donald J. Trump and move forward with the shit? As black, especially as black folks, because black folks, we all know, there's literally nothing that we could do, right? If he wanted to, he could put us all in the blender, black and brown alike, put us all in the fucking blender, because I already played the clip that, right, not only brown people can get deported, but black people can get, if he wanted to, even though it's illegal, because we are citizens, he can send us somewhere and would not care, because he doesn't care about the law. He doesn't care about anything, but yet we're supposed to be kissing his ass. We're literally supposed to be kissing this dude's ass. Are you kidding? Are you serious right now? People thought that this was not going to, how should I say it, affect black folks. Try again. Try again. The fact that it was going to affect you too. But everybody who voted for Trump, this is what you get. Dictator, that's a perfect word. That's a perfect word even for him. And now he's going after Letitia James for trying to send him to jail for some shit that he did. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. This is some crazy work, man. Crazy motherfucking work, but I get it. I totally get where this man is coming from. He's trying to get in where he fits in. I get it. And he's trying to get black folks to do the exact same thing. But you've been playing this game for far too long, bruh. Far too freaking long. And it didn't get nowhere. And I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, Republican or Democrat. But I'm neither. I'm independent. I'm independent because I already know we're playing two sides of one damn coin with wings. With wings. One red, one blue. But they're all wings of the same fowl. They're all wings of the same fowl. So what the hell you expect us to do? Kowtow to our enemies? Hell no. Hell no. And this is one of the reasons why I you know what? I want to thank you, Lisa, once again for putting me up on game on this particular woman. I don't know. I don't know how you got me into this, but hey. I don't know how you got me into this, but shouts out to this woman right here.
Yeah. I love you more. So good evening, everyone. It is so good to be here with all of you, standing with my very good friend, my little brother, and one of the boldest voices in the history of New York politics, Zoran Mondale.
New York AG Letitia James speaks after Trump DOJ indictment.
We are ready to build a city that works for the people who actually make it run. Working people, teachers, the nurses, the drivers, the home health aides, the firefighters, the police, not just for those at the top, but for working people who built this city from the ground up. And we are living through twin crises, a crisis of affordability and a crisis of wage stagnation. Rent is up, and yes, it is too damn high. Groceries cost more, and too many families are living from one paycheck to the next. And childcare is too expensive, and too many New Yorkers are leaving the city because of failed policies of this city and state.
Not to mention the state of Nevada, 7 billion people lost their jobs. Tourism is down to 19%. There is no coming back. The only way, and this is far-fetched, you better hope in these 3 years, because it's going to be some rough 3 years. In 3 years' time, this will be a dry land. Going back to once before, and I'm about to sneeze. Shoot. Tourism is down 19%. 7 million people in the last couple of months have lost their jobs by the thousands. This idiotic fool expects Canada and all these other people to pay tariffs, pay taxes or whatever. And by I think it's like midterms or something like that, premiums are going to go up. You know where all that money is going to go to? Mostly it's going to go to his rich buddies and it's going to go to his elitists, but most likely it's going to go to him too. And how much you want to bet? How much you want to bet that Donald Trump, while black folks are, he's either going to do one or two things. Number one, he's either going to present us with a package deal and or going to send us to Gonza somewhere. He's going to send us to Gonza somewhere. Now, there's a couple of people he has shooken over the past couple of months, and he hasn't been in office in what, 90 some days? 100 some days? But there's one person he can't fuck with, and that's Abraham Traoré of Burkina Faso. Shouts out to the Prince.
And at the same time, we see powerful voices trying to silence truth and punish dissent and, yes, weaponize justice for political gain. We are witnessing the fraying of our democracy, the erosion of our system of government. This, my friends, is a defining moment in our history. Let us stand together to defend our rights, to protect every safeguard, every institution, every immigrant. Every norm and every rule of law. You see, I know what it feels like to be attacked for just doing your job. But I also know what it feels like to overcome adversity. And so I stand on solid rock. And I will not bow. I will not break. I will not bend. I will not capitulate. I will not give in. I will not give up. You come for me, you gotta come to all of us. You see, I've learned to stand on the shoulders of my ancestors who came before me and weathered the storm. And despite being seared with scars, they survived. And if they can survive, so will we. So over the last few days, I've summoned their strength and their courage. And I will keep fighting for justice. I will keep fighting for New Yorkers. I will keep fighting the aggressive policies of Washington, D.C., and I will not stop.
Wow. Powerful. Powerful. We'll come back to that. We'll definitely come back to that. Shouts out to Letitia. Now, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I don't know what the hell is going on. All I know is I see a country burning off of false promises and lies and more lies. Because let's be honest, whenever time I need some food, I gotta calculate how much money I'm gonna need and how much it's gonna stretch. And the one thing I did forget, I forgot to call the I forgot to call Washington. I forgot to call Washington and inform them that and let them know that the people have spoken on my side of the aisle, which ain't but very few. But on my side of the aisle, it is chosen that Jasmine Crockett is and should be nominated and should be voted nominal at a nominal rate. The hell being a senator, the hell being with a mayor, the hell being with a governor. Become the whole effing show. Just become the whole show. Why take over a state when you can take over the world as God would intend? As God would intend. But that'll be up to you. I'm not forcing anything. And who am I speaking with?
Peace, fam. This is Pan Mulattoism. How you doing?
Oh, it's been a while. How you been?
I've been well. Thanks for asking. How you been?
Making it. What you got
Yes,
for me?
sir. And I just want to highlight that the Attorney General that you just had on the screen, you'll notice that she said she'll stand up and fight for every immigrant. She definitely did not say that she will stand up and fight for every Black American. And the reason that we must highlight this is because she's speaking out of New York City. And New York City literally doesn't have any majority Black American communities left. So
Because they
we
all
have to,
been gentrified.
and they've been flooded with immigrants. So we have to acknowledge that these Democrats that Black Americans support, the accumulative effect is that Black Americans are being ethnically displaced. Black American communities are being eradicated as we speak.
And of course, people thought that voting for Trump was going to mean something. It wasn't going to mean anything because as he was going to get rid of the immigrants, you didn't think he was going to get rid of you too? By law, it's illegal.
Well, elaborate on when you say get rid of me too. What do you mean by that?
It is by my discretion. Well, it wasn't by my discretion because somebody already elaborated to it that by law it would be illegal because we are citizens of the United States of America to try to get rid of black people just like he got rid of immigrants. But he doesn't care about the law, which means, and he by the by the five district courts, not the district courts, the five judges of the Supreme Courts, the Supreme Court judges, they granted him immunity, which means you can't touch him. He can literally take a shit on your lawn, and if you don't clean up the shit, that will violate you and get you evicted.
No,
You can't do anything to him.
I'm not trying to be contentious. I'm genuinely asking. When you say get rid of me too, what do you mean by that?
Black people, are you not black, sir?
Are you speaking about Black Americans?
You want the term.
No, I'm not trying to get caught up in semantics. I'm asking, when you speak about black people, are you speaking about Black Americans?
Yes,
Are you
I am.
saying that? Okay, so I'm asking, do you have any example of a Black American being deported?
Do I have an example? No. I'm just stating a point. Actually, I'm stating a fact. The fact of the matter is he can do whatever he wants. That's my point. Doesn't matter if you're a Black American, an American African, whatever you would FBA, whatever you would call yourself.
No, I'm just
If you,
asking. Yeah, I'm listening.
no. I know what you mean. I know what you mean, but should it really matter who you are being black in America?
Yes, I'm gonna tell you why it matters, because if we as Black Americans or mulatto Americans, descendants of U.S. chattel slaves, if we went to Jamaica illegally or Ghana illegally, Kenya illegally, Somalia illegally, etc., 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 if we went to Black nations illegally, we would be subjected to deportation. You do know that, right?
Of course. But we are citizens. But my point is, we're citizens of the United States, and I'm pointing out to you that Trump can do anything he wants. He basically wants to, when he says he wants to make America great again, that's just what he means. He wants to make America great again by his standards. Why do you think he wants to eliminate the black and brown coalition altogether? It's not just immigrants, it's us as well.
Hold on, brother. Please, do you have any tangible evidence of a Black and brown coalition? Because I can articulate how the Browns benefited from Black Americans. I can articulate that. But how have Black Americans benefited from any of the Browns or even Black foreigners? How have Black Americans benefited from immigrants?
They have it, but brother, this is much bigger than you think. This is much bigger than you think. We're talking about a dictator here, a dictator that can, like I said, can do anything at any point in time, and nobody can touch him. Can you at least acknowledge that? Can you
Not,
acknowledge that?
well, not only will I acknowledge that, we as descendants of U.S. chattel slaves, we have been subjected to multiple oppressors throughout the history of the United States, and literally since the inception of the United States. My question is, why is it that now that the temperature is being turned up on other ethnicities and other races, why are we panicking? That's the part I don't understand.
I don't even know. I don't even know why we were in it in this in the first place. But when I heard and on top of that, the whole Charlie Kirk situation, that was a mess, and it had nothing to do with us either. The immigrants had nothing to do with us, and Charlie Kirk had nothing to do with us. So I understand what you're saying. I really understand what you're saying.
And I appreciate you acknowledging that. And really, that's my point right there. We, as descendants of U.S. chattel slaves, when we see that immigrants are being mass deported, we need to stay out the way if we're not going to report the illegal aliens to ICE ourselves. And the reason that we must support mass deportations is because we must acknowledge that every immigrant is taking a housing opportunity and an employment opportunity away from a homeless and or unemployed Black American descendant of U.S. chattel slaves. Or in other words, there's no way that we will be able to preserve our communities if we don't turn the faucet off. Really, we cannot continue to turn a blind eye to the flooding of our communities.
So what do you suppose we do?
Well, literally, that's it. We should report all immigrants to ICE. Let ICE determine if they are here legally or not. Additionally, we should advocate for legislation to ban immigration to the U.S. If we don't, then we won't have anything. Our children and our grandchildren, they won't have any majority Black American communities to grow up in because we're literally forfeiting our communities to foreigners. It's shameful what we are doing. And I'll say this in closing because I see it's a new guest. Hispanics don't have to question if there will be more Hispanic communities in the future for their grandkids to grow up in. Asians don't have to question whether or not there will be more majority Asian communities in the US for their children to grow up in. But we as Black Americans and mulatto Americans, literally, our communities are decreasing in number, and we are voting for our communities to be further eradicated. It's shameful. And really, our grandkids, they are not wrong if they say to hell with us because we did not fight for them. Really, our grandkids, they are not wrong if they say to hell with us.
All right, go ahead, Lisa.
Well, my thing is this. Too many men do not accept a smart.
Lisa, turn off your YouTube. Turn off YouTube. Because you hear echo in the background. You got to turn that off. But what were you saying?
What about now?
Yep, you got it.
We hear you, sis.
She's not used to that, but yeah, but let me play devil's advocate here. Why do I get the feeling that you're pulling the Donald Trump right now?
Elaborate.
He's not want he just doesn't just want to get rid of illegal immigrants. He wants the whole show to be what it was back in I would say back in not the 1800s, but let's just say the 1800s, more or less, so Nazi Germany, where all these people were put in concentration camps if they didn't abide by the law and so on and so forth. Because you do know that his father was a Klansman. You do know that, right?
No, I don't. But please articulate how you're trying to relate that to me and my stance.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying. I'm just like I said. I'm just playing devil's advocate here to have you further elaborate. Again, your stance is well taken. There are people who are coming in here illegally, either through marriage or whatever else, and they don't need to be here. But what about the people who were here legally? Do they get deported as well?
I definitely support the denaturalization of immigrants in the U.S., and I'll tell you why. Because once again, I'm speaking from a stance of self-preservation. If you ask a Haitian or a Nigerian or a Mexican, a Korean, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, if you ask them, would they want to be outnumbered in their own country by foreigners, whether the foreigners were there legally or illegally, the logical, rational response is, of course not. But we, as descendants of U.S. chattel slaves, this is exactly what we are voting for. We are voting for ourselves to be outnumbered, pardon me, further outnumbered
To
by
be
even more
exterminated, right?
in our own country. Really, and it's a disservice to our future generations. We think that we are being benevolent to the foreigners. We think that we are being generous and kind-hearted and virtuous to the foreigners, but actually we are being wicked to our future generations because we are literally eradicating the communities that our future generations are supposed to inherit from us. Really, it's shameful. I'm gonna keep using that word because really, black Americans, and I don't even like the word black, but when I say black Americans, you know what I'm talking about.
I
We
got you.
deserve to be shamed. We deserve to be shamed for what we have done, for the position that we have put our future generations in. Really, there's nothing honorable about it.
I believe he's talking about you, Coons. Lisa, go ahead. If we can hear you.
You can hear me now?
Uh-huh.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I have several issues with all of this. A house divided cannot stand. And when we look at other races or we talk about immigrants, to me, it is sad that we only talk about one race when we refer to immigrants, when there are many immigrants. You don't see them sitting up raiding Chinese people houses. You don't see them raiding people from India and Korea and Jamaica and all these other places. Now, my thing is this: if they can do it to them, they can do it to you, they can do it to me, and anybody else, whoever they deem is fit to do this. It doesn't matter if you're here legally, because they are snatching people up that are here legally. And when you look at Donald Trump, tell me, how many Black people do you see in the West Wing? How many do you see in his cabinet? How many, when he steps up and gives these press conferences and he has his underlings up there with him, how many do you see that are Black?
Zero.
Uh-huh. I wonder why that is. Maybe it's because he wants to make America great again. Because for us, it's never been great. There's nothing great about people being raped and lynched, babies being snatched out of arms. These women, they're too good or either too stupid to even feed their own babies. They have to have wet nurses.
May I ask why you don't call ICE on white immigrants? Because I call ICE on white immigrants, Asian immigrants, Black immigrants. Like, I'm an equal opportunity reporter against the immigrants. So, have you ever considered reporting white immigrants to ICE? Sister, did you hear me? Respectfully.
Yeah, that was for you. That was for you, Lisa. But to answer that question, I never thought of it that way. But how can you deport somebody who respectfully has all the power and the wealth?
Well, I'll give you an example. I've reported Russians, Germans, Eastern Europeans, Albanians, etc. I've reported them to ICE actively. I mean, this is what I do. Additionally, all different types of Asians. You know, I call ICE on Asian massage parlors. Literally, you could get on Google and Google immigrant businesses and just call ICE on them. I mean, virtually all of them are employing illegal aliens. Let ICE determine if these immigrants are here legally or not. So that's my advice to many of the Americans, the U.S. citizens that claim that uh, certain demographics of immigrants are not being deported and other ones are. All right, well, the immigrants that you feel are not being deported, call ICE on them. Really.
Well, really, they're the U.S. military is well. Let me backtrack where I was really going to say. Trump has absolutely, positively has done nothing but that, and he's in different states, blue states actually, getting rid of these particular problems. What certain people will call insects, getting rid of the problems within this country. But as I stated before, sir, don't think just because they're getting rid of illegal immigrants or they're getting rid of immigrants, period, does not necessarily mean they can't get rid of you, because he can and he will.
Well, let me ask you, when have we not been, when I say we, I'm speaking about descendants of U.S. chattel slaves, when have we not been targeted by law enforcement?
I feel you on that.
So
I
the
feel
point
you.
I'm making is, as a taxpayer, really, we, I'm gonna just speak for myself, but
Uh-huh.
I I think that you'll at least agree with me on this. I don't pay ICE my taxes, my hard-earned money. I don't pay them to twiddle their thumbs. So if I see a problem within my community that my taxes have been allocated to ICE to solve, I pick the phone up and I call ICE. I literally call them every single day. So if you all know of any potential illegal aliens, even white ones, call ICE on them. Really. As far as uh, Trump,
Excuse me, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I'm having some type of issue where, like, everything you said is like muted out. I didn't get to hear not one word of what you said, and that happened earlier. So I don't
well,
know what's going on.
I asked you a question. Are you able to hear me now?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
ma'am. I asked a particular question, and I'll ask you again.
Okay.
Because you spoke about certain demographics of immigrants not being deported, specifically Caucasian immigrants. My question is, why don't you or have you reported European immigrants to ICE?
No, I'm not reported, not one single person. And what I was speaking about, I think you misconstrued. I wasn't just talking about whites. I was really talking about anybody with some melon looks like who he's targeting. He's targeting not the whiter looking of these races, but the browner looking of the races.
No, that's what I'm saying. Since you believe, and I'm not even disagreeing with you on that part, if you believe that the melanated immigrants are being targeted by ICE, why not
Mhm.
report the white immigrants to ICE as well?
I think that's a wonderful idea, but remember this, just because you report something and you do something does not mean you get results. Do they give you a report? Do they report back to you? Do they send you a certificate of get out this country? I mean,
Well,
how do
actually, yeah,
you know
let
it's
me tell you,
doing any good?
because actually, ICE pays for every immigrant that you report that they end up deporting, they'll
Uh-huh.
pay you for it. The amounts
Really?
vary. Yeah, yes. So that's what I'm saying.
Wow.
If you see that
Okay.
they are European immigrants and you want to get out the paint, call ICE on them. Really. I mean,
Okay.
and really, this is a way that we could be proactive as
Well,
descendants of U.S. chattel slaves.
I'm gonna tell you something. I didn't do it, but I threatened to do it. I ordered from a grocery store some groceries to be delivered. And when the man brought my groceries, it was raining. We were getting ready for a little party, and it specified for my groceries to be brought in my home. He stacked all my groceries up at my doorway in the rain, seeing that I was having mobility issues and went to walk away. And I'm like, excuse me, hey, you're supposed to bring this in. He doesn't speak English. Now, let's just stop right there. They have apps that translate. Why are you working for a big $1 trillion company and you can't speak English all of a sudden? Now, to my knowledge, there are no stores in my area that are 100% any race other than blacks and whites. So I call and tell them about this, and I don't want him delivering to me again and give me my tip back. How about him? For a while, they sent nothing but black people. All of a sudden, one day, I order groceries, and here's Vincent again. And he does the same thing. I said, oh, whoa, wait a minute. I remember you. You did this same thing last time. So I don't understand why Walmart isn't taking any action against you. Maybe I need to call ICE and maybe we can get down to this problem why you can pretend like you don't speak English, but you had to speak English to get the job because I know the managers, you had to have spoken English. Okay. So the game that you're playing is moot far as I'm concerned. I threatened to do it, but I didn't do it. You know, I'm not saying this issue isn't important. It's just not one of the major issues for me. I
But can
don't
I ask you
like the
this?
way they're implementing it, but I don't feel it has to be done in the manner that they're doing it.
But please allow me to ask you this: what is
Mhm.
the accumulative effect of Black Americans turning a blind eye to mass immigration? Do you think that this leads to more or less majority Black American cities?
I actually think more. Um,
Well, please tell me how.
well, Locke told you earlier. If they can do it to them, they can do it to you. You can sit up and scream from the rafters, you're this, you're that. But apparently, it does not matter. There was a big case about a man, and they snatched him up. He was American citizen. They sent him over to this prison. Make a long story short, they found out he was, in fact, an American, a legal American, and Trump refused to go get him. The person that had him refused to let him go. So when I say something like that, that tells me it does not matter. When
But,
they decide you're not legal, you're not
but
legal.
sister, I think with all due respect, well, two things at once. Number one, the person that you're referring to was not Black American at all. It was an El Salvadorian, and
I
he
didn't
was not.
say that. I didn't say
But
he was black. I
but hear me
said,
out though, sis.
okay,
Please hear me out.
go ahead.
And my question was, does Black Americans turning a blind eye to mass immigration, does this lead to more or less majority Black American cities?
I would say more
All right, please tell me how.
because if you're thinning out weeds, You're pulling out weeds. You are looking at less of one and more of the other. It's like peeking your head out of a door. As long as you keep it tucked in, you may not be seen, but once you peep out, you are seen.
No, but sis, mathematically, and it's really, this is not rocket science, and I'm not even trying to put you in checkmate with this question, but I'm just asking, how does flooding the U.S. with millions of other races and other ethnicities, how does this lead to more majority Black American cities? Please tell me.
I never said that mass immigration led to more Black people. That's not what I said.
But
And
that was my
earlier,
question, though,
when you
sis.
asked me a
Hold on, hold
question,
on.
you misunderstood or you chose to take it in the wrong way.
No, sis,
You know,
you might not have heard my question. That's why I keep repeating the
No, no,
question.
but but but
All right,
but
well,
but
go ahead. You
but you're
please
saying
can
it,
you
but
answer?
you're saying it in parable. But you're saying it in parables. But explain what you mean, because we're, quite technically we're supposed to be talking about the crisis in America, period. But you're
Yeah,
talking about immigrants and bait.
and actually, what I said was not a parable. It was actually I articulated it in a very straightforward fashion. My question is, and I'll ask the host, with all due respect, We-On-Loc,
Hmm.
does flooding the U.S. with literally millions, because that's what's taking place, does flooding the U.S. with literally millions of other ethnicities and other races, does this lead to more majority Black American communities or less majority Black American communities?
Technically it's less, but we're only 13% of the population.
No, you just said it. So the question is, and we're already a minority, and I'm glad you brought that up because actually I was going to bring that up as well. The question is, at only 13%, and that's debatable because that 13% includes Black immigrants. At approximately 13% of the U.S. population, why are we advocating to become an even smaller minority, which will have even less cities, even less communities, even less of a demographic voting power in a democracy where majority rules? Please
But
tell me, why are we? But can
brother,
you at least answer that
it
question?
wouldn't even it but it wouldn't it's not going to even matter once these businesses collapse.
Hold on, but can you at least answer the question I asked? But because we can address what you just said, but my question is, why are we advocating for our dem?
But
who
brother,
is
All right, go
it's
ahead.
kind
we?
of
Who is
confusing when
we?
you say that. Who is
Excuse me,
advocating?
who is we?
We, as
Who,
in descendants. Let me answer that, brother. And let's not make this a contentious discussion because you already conceded to my point that mass immigration leads to less majority Black American communities. So when I say we, I'm speaking about descendants of U.S. chattel slaves. The question is, why are we not only advocating for, why are we facilitating the disempowerment of our own ethnicity?
Well, I'm going to say this. I don't speak for other people because that is not my right. I don't have to worry about statistics about something that I feel is not my right. What I'm here worrying about is my place and my family's place because I live here. I'm not an immigrant. And whatever my backlog or my history is, that is what it is. But I'm not here to sit up here and say whether I'm going to say, oh, well, this is less and this is more. It's not directly affecting my life. And
But
so, what affects my life directly is what I tend to be concerned with. Whether people are calling, if people are calling on ICE and they have time to do that, great, great,
hold on, but
good
listen,
thing.
hold on. Let's go one step at a time. And if I'm long-winded, please allow me to know, and I'll mute up. Let's go one step at a time. Now, you say it does not impact you directly, but don't you understand that it will definitely impact your grandkids and your great grandkids directly? Let's take California, for instance. Are you aware that California, I already brought up New York earlier, New York City does not have any majority Black American communities. Black Americans in the state of California are only 3% of the total population. My question is, when will the Black American self-preservation instincts trigger to preserve our communities? Do you want your grandkids, and this is the direct question to We-On-Loc and to Miss Lisa, do you want your grandchildren to have the opportunity to grow up in a majority Black American middle class or upper middle class community? Wouldn't you want
Brother,
them to have the opportunity?
I understand where I understand where you're coming from with all this, and you're throwing these questions all in one realm. I understand where you're coming from, but for the fact of the matter is, we will know power.
Hold on,
We
brother.
will.
Can you at least answer that question, brother?
Again, I know where you're coming from.
But it's not. I'm not trying to lead you nowhere, brother.
I'm really with you on that
I hear you,
point.
but it's not a loaded question, though. But let me just say this: when I'm talking to you, I'm not trying to trap you.
But I basically just said to you, we have no power.
But brother, we do have power. Hold on, but don't you realize that we were taught that we had no power by the slave masters? Yes, we do have power, brother. Look at Baltimore, for instance. That's still majority Black American. Look at Detroit, for instance. That's still majority Black
He
American.
doesn't
Look at
mean in that sense. He
Hold
doesn't
on,
mean
but
it
sis,
like
let me have
that.
a dialogue with the host for a second, please. Or I'll mute up and you talk, and then I'll get my 30 seconds in after you go.
Well, I'm going to say this. You ask 5
All
or
right, go ahead,
6
Lisa.
questions at one time, and then you don't want to give people an opportunity to ask them. And then you keep telling us we are not answering your question. I don't
But
know what,
actually, he did
just
not
because
answer the
it's not
question.
the answer you want
No,
doesn't
but
mean
sis,
that it's not being answered.
actually, and you can rewind the tape.
I'm
He
gonna
did not
say,
answer. Yeah,
okay,
go ahead, brother.
I'm just gonna say this. I'm
Because
just
I
gonna
didn't
say,
come up here for this. I came up for Jasmine Crockett and what's going on today. That's what this show was about today.
and I definitely understand, where this brother is coming from, because we had numerous talks about this, almost damn near 1,000 times. But I will say this, and I'm gonna end it with this: we will know power. If we will power in the United States of freaking America, where we have a mad dictator in office, which half of the majority of blacks voted him in there, where are our distributions?
Can I
Where
ask you
are
why
our
we don't?
factories?
Hold on. Why are you saying that we don't have power, though? Can we get to that part?
Again, where are our distributions? Where are
All
our
right,
factories?
let me respond to that. Now,
Where's our money?
well, I'm trying to answer your question, brother. Can I answer your question?
Sure, go ahead.
Now, I agree that it's a lot more that we could be doing. It's a lot, and I like when you say where are our distribution centers. I agree with you. I'm not even going to dispute that point. But that doesn't mean that we don't have power. That means that we are not utilizing our power correctly. Have you been to Baltimore? That's why I was trying to list the cities where we actually do have demographic power. We're just not using it to benefit ourselves. So I'm asking a simple question, and with all due respect, you did not answer it directly. But I can discern from your response that you at least want your grandkids to have the opportunity to grow up in a majority Black American upper middle class and middle class community. My question is, how will our future generations have the opportunity to grow up in a majority Black American upper middle class or middle class community if we are allowing the communities where we are the majority now to be flooded by other races? Please, I'm genuinely asking that question.
To answer your question directly, with no hesitation, that's like asking the homeless person, where am I going to get my food for tonight?
But bro, why do you think we homeless though?
That's a very, very broad question, especially when
Hold on,
the
but why do you
answer
think we
is,
homeless though?
hold on, where the answer still remains, we have no power, no
Brother, you
wealth.
was taught
The
that. Hold on,
needle
the
has
white
not
man taught
moved.
you.
The way
All
not
right, can I ask you this? If we don't have no
it,
power, how did we get
if
off?
that's
How did
the
we
case,
get off the slave
the
land?
case, how come the white man is so right
No, I'm
in
asking.
this
No, he's not
instance?
right. That's my point. If we had no power, don't you realize we would still be on slave plantations? Don't you realize that?
We're still fast.
We
We're
have the
still
power, the limited
Brother,
power they
hold on,
allow
hold on.
us to have.
Hold on, one mic at a time. Brother, if we had no power, we would still be on slave plantations. You don't realize that? If we had no power, the Civil Rights Act would not have been passed. Don't you realize that? You are
The
actually
Civil
disrespecting your own
Rights
ethnicity when
Act.
you say
The Civil Rights Act.
uh-huh.
Is that all you got for me, brother? Because there's more to it than
No,
that.
I can actually keep listening. If we had no power, then Charles County, Maryland, where the Black Americans have a higher income than the local whites, would not exist, brother. If we had no power, then Obama never would have been the goddamn president, and I don't even agree with the nigga.
They chose. So you believe we chose? You believe we choose presidents? You believe we chose Obama?
Definitely. And even if you disagree with that one point, you can't refute everything else I just said. So the point is this.
The Civil
Hold
Rights
on,
Act was
brother.
chosen by who? Wait. The Civil Rights Act was chosen by who?
The Civil Rights Act was passed because you had masses of Black Americans uprising nationwide. You don't know your history?
Because of who?
Because
White
we,
constituents.
as a
White
response,
constituents were partnered up with you.
brother,
You
you're being too
weren't
emotional. Hold
by
on, listen to what I'm
yourself.
saying. Brother, I
You
didn't. When
weren't
did I say
by
we?
yourself,
Hold on.
brother.
When did I say we was by ourselves?
Wait. So you mean to tell me you will partner up with anybody else, but you have the nerve
If
and the
it
audacity
benefits
to tell
us.
me about illegal immigrants?
No, I said if it benefits us, yes. If it's a mutually beneficial relationship, yes. That's
So
why
you
the
will
first thing I asked you.
will
Hold on,
partner up
one
with
mic at a
white.
time, bro.
So you will actually
Hold on,
partner
wait,
up
hold
with
on,
white.
we on live. We on live. Hold on, we
Excuse
on live.
me.
Hold on, let me
Excuse
dialogue with the
me.
host right quick. We on
No,
live.
wait a
Please,
minute.
you're being
No.
emotional.
Wait a minute. Wait
My
a
God.
minute.
Hold
Wait a minute.
on. We got a lady.
I'd like to say something. It's really important.
All
See,
right, go ahead.
when you say things and whether I want to answer them or he wants to, let me finish this with this. And it goes on and on and on. Just a
I know, but
moment
sis,
ago.
you have to
That's
realize you're interrupting a powerful build right now.
Oh, no, I'm not interrupting
You
anything. I
are,
was
but go ahead.
invited. No,
All right,
Lock.
go ahead. Make your
Did
point,
you
please.
not invite me to
I got
come up
something.
here on this panel tonight?
Hold on.
Was that not your plan?
Okay, Lisa, just go ahead. Just go ahead and speak your mind. This because
First of all, I don't like someone telling me what I'm interrupting when what we're talking about has nothing to do with the topic, number one. Number two, I was asked to come up here. I didn't just copy in this chat and decide, oh, I'll go up. I was asked to come here to discuss politics and a specific young lady. But you, when you say these things, you do these long-winded questions and then say that Locke wants to answer it. Okay. And whatever he says, you address that and keep going on. If I want to address it, then you'll say something to me. I don't need somebody that's the problem. We have so many Black men that are dismissive of Black women. I take highly offensive tone to what you're saying. I'm interrupting something important like I'm nothing. Where'd you get that from? That you think what you're saying is more important than what I have to say? I'm interrupting like I'm nothing. I see that's the problem
Sis, you see we
with
both on
Black
mute. Keep making
men.
your point, sis, please. We both on mute. We listening to you. Keep making your point, sis, please.
That you didn't understand. I can't say it any plainer than that. If you can't comprehend that, I don't know what else to say.
All right, well, I got it. I'm good. And I apologize to you if you feel offended. We on lock. Brother, don't you realize when you say that we don't have any power, that's pitiful for a Black American man to say, brother. With all due respect, no, we do have power. And we must use our power to benefit our
show
future
me.
generations.
Show me.
Well, I
Don't
was
talk
literally,
about it. Be about it.
let's be about it. Now,
Just show me.
back to the, well, brother, that's what I was trying to say before the sister spoke up. Brother, you're being too emotional right now. Can we have a peaceful dialogue as gentlemen? Now, you said show you. We were
You know
just
what?
talking about.
You know what?
All right, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm getting so real
Yeah,
sick.
yeah,
I'm getting
exactly.
real
All right.
sick and tired I'm getting
I can
real
tell,
sick
bro.
and tired of
I can
people
tell.
saying that black people are so emotional. Like we
Brother,
living
you are
like
being emotional. Can we
the
stick to the
AI.
subject, brother?
Like AI, we're just letting AI control us because we just have this thing about going to Google each and every single time for facts and
But
all these
I
fucking
disagree
talking
with you,
points.
but I'm not being emotional about it. I disagree with you, but I'm not being emotional about it. We can still have the dialogue as gentlemen.
But,
Now, you said show you
aren't
the power
the
that we
Black
have.
Panthers
All right,
emotional?
cool.
Weren't the Black Panthers emotional when they
Actually,
had to do what they had to do?
they were
When they
strategic and
had guns and
logical.
they were protecting their rights.
No, they wasn't.
They
They
were
was not emotional with them guns. No, they weren't. Respectfully.
no, they
Now,
were
I'm glad.
emotional to the cops and saying we have a right to have these guns. If you have a right to protect yourself, then we have a right to protect
And did the
ourselves.
Black Panthers say that we was powerless? Checkmate. Did the Black Panthers say that we was powerless? No, right?
Well,
That's checkmate.
are we the Black Panthers? Checkmate.
No,
Do
we're
we
not
have
the.
the
Hold
power?
on, brother.
Checkmate.
Hold on, that's the point right there, brother. No, we are Black American men, right?
What's the
Ain't no
definition
man
of
supposed to
black?
say he
What's the
powerless. Ain't no
definition?
man supposed to say he
You
powerless.
keep saying black men, and I know you don't have, and I know you hate this word, but you keep using it. You keep using it
Yes,
verbatim. So I'm gonna ask you this
exactly.
question: what's black?
Uh-huh. Black descendants of U.S. chattel slaves, Black Americans. Not just black. No, we're not just black. I said Black American specifically.
So we're pale Americans.
When did I say that?
Since we want to get technical
No,
with
that's
the
a
word,
deflection,
that's
brother.
what the
That's a
word means.
deflection. No, that's a
No,
deflection.
that's that.
That's a deflection.
I could get the black dictionary right now, and I could show you the word.
And you would be deflecting.
How would that be deflecting?
So when the Black Panthers called themselves the Black Panthers, would they call themselves pale? Checkmate. Okay, so when the Black Panthers said that they was the Black Panthers, you knew exactly who they was talking about. Don't play dumb with me, brother. Now back to the focal point. You said, what power can I show you that we have? Let's speak about the Black Panther that you just brought up. Don't you realize that due to the Black Panthers actions and the actions of not just the Black Panthers, Black American men and women nationwide causing uprisings throughout the 60s. My grandparents was involved in some of them. Don't you realize that's how the Civil Rights Act got passed? Even more recently,
I
look
think
at
you
the
need to get
George
these.
Floyd. Let's
I
talk
think you
about it,
need to
brother.
get this. I think you need to
Look at
get
the
this
George
dictionary.
Floyd.
Excuse me once again.
Look at the
Excuse me
George
I
once
think you need
Floyd.
to
again.
get this dictionary right here.
Yeah,
Excuse
go
me
ahead and run
once
from that way
again.
on lot. You running,
Hold,
but go ahead, sis.
Excuse
Save his
me.
life.
hold on, Lisa.
Save his
I'm
life.
gonna
Hold
go
on.
ahead
Give me
and
Go
let
ahead,
you
sis.
guys
give me a few
have
minutes.
it.
Now let
I'm
the
gonna go
sister
ahead and
talk
let
because
you
she's trying
guys
to save
have
your
it.
life because you're cooked.
No,
Go ahead,
wait.
sis.
No.
Cook.
I'm old enough to
First of
say
all,
what
nigga,
I
I don't
want to
play
say,
these
and I
YouTube
know
games.
what I mean. But I'm gonna let y'all have it because this was supposed to be about Jasmine Crockett, not about this, that, and the
No,
other. Not
no,
about
Lisa,
we're
you
not
got it.
free.
You got it because number one, I don't play. No, Lisa, I don't play these YouTube fucking games. Talking about checkmate and all this shit. First of all, you
Yeah,
can't
that's
even
why
check
he
yourself
left.
into a goddamn facility. No, because
That's
I
why he
checked his
left.
ass out. No, I kicked
Because
his ass out.
because he thinks I'm not gonna sit up here and let anybody demean me
Wait.
and act like
Give
I'm any less
me a
than
minute.
him.
Give me a minute, Lisa. Give me a minute, Lisa. First of all, you need to read the Black Dictionary, my brother. Since you want to be
Checkmate.
this whole bunch of revolution, you want to be about this revolutionary shit, but you haven't even built anything upon means upon our people. Checkmate.
Checkmate.
Like I said, where are our grocery stores? Checkmate. Where are our distributions? Checkmate. Where are our pharmacies? Checkmate. Where are Walmarts? With healthy foods and all this stuff. I asked you earlier. I said, we can, if the immigrants to be deported, so can we. Does Donald Trump have that power? Yes, he does. But you gonna come up here and derail the shit, and I let you speak, but you gonna be so goddamn disrespectful. You need to go over there with the other YouTubers that have no ability to even think. They don't think. Whatever comes out of their mouth, they just spew and think they're going to get click in the view about it. You don't think. How is it that I'm gonna call ICE? Good for them. I hope they do it to you, because guess what? After you call them, and somebody else calls ISIS on you, you have no say. You have no protection. Under what law? Under the First Amendment, Second Amendment, which he has violated. The First Amendment, Second Amendment, 13th Amendment, 14th Amendment, 15th Amendment, 22nd Amendment, he has violated. And you have the nerve to come up to me talking about just illegal immigrants. Get the hell out of here with that shit. Our plan of constituencies is to get a person in office after 3 years that can turn this whole thing around. Because after 7 million people got their jobs taken away, why the hell does an illegal immigrant have to do with me?
You're not answering the question, though.
Oh, I'm sorry. What was the question, Lisa? I'm sorry. What was the question?
Well, with all due respect, sister, we're having a real conversation here. And basically, in other words, if you're not intelligent enough to read between the lines, you are irrelevant. And that is what the problem is with men like him.
No, I don't play that.
Don't tell me what I have not done to prepare for my grandkids or my children, because you know nothing about me. And Locke can tell you, I definitely have put things in motion for my family.
But wait a minute, Lisa, don't you have like something called life insurance for your child?
I do.
Ain't that cultivating generational wealth?
Yes. And what else do I have? What else do I have, Locke, that would benefit my children and grandchildren? What else do I have?
I don't know. Elaborate.
You know, my homes with an S.
Oh,
my cars with an S. And we don't sell drugs.
We don't want to get too much away. We don't want to get too much away, because that'll be too much like right.
Right. See, all those foundational whatever. When you can't, I understand when people say other people are deflecting and that's all they do. When you sit up and you have a 3 damn paragraph question, and then there are 2 people up here, but you don't want to let anybody answer it. You are not interested in what my opinion is, because that shows your pompous attitude. That shows why Black women have such a problem with Black men, because of men like him. You cannot tell me when somebody in so many words tells me I'm irrelevant, you guys are talking. What kind of man is that outside of this panel? He didn't want to hear anything I had to say. Anytime he didn't like the response, but you're not answering the question. Neither are you. Just because I'm not answering it in the way you want it to be answered, who are you to say I'm not answering the question?
He's looking for the answer, and just to be direct, like I said, I don't play that YouTube bullshit, because none of you niggas can even solve a problem with with how to balance a checkbook, let alone how to defend yourself towards a white man. But you harm each other each and every single day. Learn to control.
My thing was, when he got on the slavery tip, and you're saying we have no power. We did not free ourselves. We did not do anything that they did not allow us to do. Us being where we are right now.
No, he talks about Baltimore. Like Trump has been to Baltimore with the FBI, quote unquote, military and the National Guard to see about getting rid of crimes. You know he's been there too, you know. But I guess we have power over there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Checkmate. we got power. We got power in Detroit. Oh, not really, because he's going over there next. Checkmate.
And you know, sometimes people think they're playing chess, but they're really playing checkers. I mean, I understand some people don't have the intellect to understand that those two things are different, but yet they want to continue on this rant that they want to do like these other people. And if I wanted to have a back and forth or go in some place where it was chauvinistic, I would be there. That's not why I'm here. Another thing is, I don't know where he came from, but I was asked to come. I was asked not to come and talk about
small. He comes from a small group of people, and again, I was with him for the simple fact that yes, I mean there are certain Black Americans that I mean we're just too goddamn divided. I'm just going to be straight up with you. Right. We're just too divided. Too divided. Everybody has their own code, and everybody has their own labels. You got FBA. AFW, fucking Adolf's, Foundational Black Americans. You have the Israelites. You got all these. You got all these cults and cult leaders, but none of them have built any type of substance. No disrespect to either one of these groups. None of these people have built any type of substance for other blacks to thrive. But immigrants can come over here. African immigrants can come over here vis-a-vis by grant and build their own constituents, can build their own companies, can build their own freaking stores. But you don't want to support them.
And something else is that when we sit up and we want to talk about the minorities, you know, when I go to the doctor, I never see any Chinese people unless they're the doctor. When I go to the doctor, I don't see any people that are from India that are the doctor nor sitting in the waiting room. I mean, just because someone sees a minute piece of something, but they're resistant to the full truth, that speaks to a problem and why we as a race have a problem. When we have men that feel like women are irrelevant and what they have is the only important thing, that's how Trump gets in the White House. That's why people like Trump get away. That's like people like him, their heart is broken when they find out they're no different than nobody else. If they decided today they wanted to kick the door in and snatch him out, they would, and there would be nothing nobody could do about it, including himself.
Whatever. Remember that thing when I told you about Trump having broad immunity?
Yes, yeah. Because I told you the Supreme Court decided that decision back early in the early part of the year. Once they told him anything he did in a official capacity, he was immune from. That is why he's doing all this, because no matter what he does, he cannot be punished except.
And all I'm asking is, where is your power?
Right.
Where is it? Where is it? Where?
I just think
you know what? I'm gonna blow the freaking doors off. You know who truly has the power?
Who?
You. Women.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You know why? You know why women have the power? Because of niggas like that.
I think it's just so sad. I've never came on this channel and disrespected anyone. If you are disrespectful in the chat, I will say so. I will retract your message. But it's not a personal thing. If you are disrespectful to the host and you overstep your boundaries, I will handle you in the chat. But I certainly do not come up here and judge people because they don't see, eat, breathe, and talk about the same things in the way that I do, in the same mannerisms. To sit up and keep asking all these questions that you claim you want to be answered, you don't want to be answered. You want to be heard. You want to take over this show and make it yours, because that's what he kept trying to do. Like I kept saying, this is not what this show is about. Wonder why he doesn't want to talk about a Black, educated, successful Black woman. Wonder why he would not talk about Jasmine Crockett. Too bad you can't bring him back and ask him that question.
Well,
It proves my point.
Talking about illegals all goddamn day. Of course, again, elite. That's really none of my business. That's really none of my concern. Although I do share some of his sentiments, but brother, don't come at me with this YouTube crap. Don't do that. This is a platform where everybody is free to express how they feel at a particular moment where the topic itself says free for all. This is not a free for all. This is a crisis that we're in. This is a crisis. And it's not just about black and white. This is about making America. If you read the label up there, making America great again. What does that mean?
And I brought that question up to him as well. And I elaborated on it. When are you saying like Trump, America was good? Was it when they were raping us, or was it when they were hanging us, or was it when they were snatching our babies out of our arms, or was it when a woman had a baby by sundown they had her out in the field working? When were we great? When they were hosing people down, when they simply just wanted the right to vote? Were they great when just here not too long ago, Black men were found hung? Not too long ago, a Black man was tied to the bumper, the back end of a truck, and rolled down the road. Was that when America was great? Or was America great when there were no women? And if there were no women, you couldn't exist. So you have no real power. You cannot bring forth life like a woman can.
But Lisa, we have it. If it wasn't for us, you wouldn't be able to have the ability to get pregnant. Did you know that there was the first woman who had pregnant by conceiving, by not you touching her? She was the first one to get pregnant, and it wasn't Mary. Oops. That's actually if you Google it. That's if you Google it, not in the Bible. What am I talking about? But if you Google it, you can tell. You know what? Every kid on YouTube is all about facts, not feelings. What was it about to say? What did he say?
Facts over feelings.
Facts over feelings. Facts over feelings. The first. Go ahead, Lisa. The first woman.
Well, like I said, ironic that the first person that would come up would be a chauvinist. It does not shock me that he would refuse to acknowledge Jasmine. I said it several times. This is what the stream was about. I said it several times. I was asked to come up here. I didn't just pop up here. There's a reason why I was asked. My presence was requested. My opinion or a discussion you would like to have, you felt like I might be a good person to have that. And I don't see anything wrong with that. I have no problem with other people coming up and sharing their opinions. We don't always have to agree. But like I said, you're not going to disrespect me in that way. Not happening. It's not okay. It may be okay for your girl, for the women in your family, but it's not okay for me. And it's sad that we as Black women, you run across this. Just be quiet and let men talk. You don't have anything to talk about. It's those type of attitudes why we have people like Jasmine Crockett or Letitia James or some of these other highly educated Black women who are successful in our communities.
Oh, don't forget Maxine Waters.
Yeah, Maxine Waters.
Oh,
There's
you
so many.
read this one, Lisa? Let me see. Pathological genius is a biological.
Yeah.
Is a biological process which an egg can develop into a fetus without being fertilized by the sperm. This process is also known as the virgin birth or asexual reproduction. In humans, what was that word again?
Human.
Parthetical geniuses or whatever the hell is a rare whatever.
I can't see it that good.
It is
reproduction in human.
Not
parthenogenesis is a rare occurrence, and it is not a something means
it's not a viable means of reproduction in most cases.
Yeah. But
See,
there's
what happens when I don't have my glasses.
There's so many things that we could learn from each other that means something. I told you and I said it point blank, I didn't come up here for this. I don't care what they're doing. How about that? You know what I'm saying? I don't care. It's not directly affecting me and my family. I don't care because ICE is not coming through this door. What do you think that makes you something because you waste your time bird watching? In order for you to know who's legal and who's not, do you understand how much of a personal business you would have to know of an individual? Just think about it. How would you know if Lupe over there and Javier over there are legal? How would you know that unless you spent your time watching and following and digging into these people's lives? And if that's what someone wants to do, fine. Great that you want to do that, but don't downgrade other people because they don't choose to spend their time like that. Time is something you never have enough of. Time is something once it's gone, you can never get it back. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care how smart you think you are. You cannot get it back.
Well, Lisa, I'll say this, and you are absolutely 1000% right. But let me put my little spin in it. Instead of worrying about old peso across the street, why don't you worry about your own family and your family's family? And if you want to, you can, and people been telling you about this for years, developing what's called a community. See, people are so worried about families and he's saying that the family is the backbone of the community. Wrong. The community is the backbone.
They say it takes a village.
As they say, it takes a village. Now, doesn't it?
Yes. And sometimes people think, I'm not saying I'm super ancient old, but I've been on this planet longer than him, I guarantee. And I've seen more than he will ever see. You have to broaden when you want to truly learn. You have to open yourself up to different things. You have to truly listen instead of saying, but that's not what I asked you. You're not answering the question. just because you can't understand what the question is, that doesn't take away from the person you answered the question. Matter of fact, who are you? Who died and put you in charge and decided that you were the person that could decide, oh, that question was, yeah, it was acknowledged, it was taken, and it was answered. See, if we're not on the same page, of course the answer is going to be different because you're looking at it in a different way. And then when someone doesn't, if you have 3 people in a room and one of the persons does not like the opinion of the one lady on the panel, you're dismissive of her. Is that how you prepare for your grandchildren and your great grandchildren? Is that how you do? Because I'm going to tell you, it's not a good way. Not a good way.
Well, I'm not saying him per se, but I can speak for the rest. When these people who act like alt-right, yeah. When these people act like alt-right people, like they're all the way right and they're all the way red pill, and they feel that women have gotten away with so much, but women are not in a position of power. You were supposed to do that. You were supposed to be in the position of power, but because and we can go through it in many different, we can scatter it here and there. You know, people were forced into the military. We get that. People, were losing their jobs. We get that. Black men were forced out of homes. We get that. But there was some lazy niggas there. There was some lazy niggas and some lame ass niggas at that. Pregnating a woman and putting her back on the shelf. That's breaking up the homes.
And it'll be the first one talking about, oh, the family unit, but yet they want to make these babies and not do a family unit. Everybody, just because it walks and quacks like a duck does not mean it's a duck or a man.
The only reason why white people are not afraid of you is because of the simple fact they put a little piece of power into the woman's hands to simply get rid of you because you are inferior to them. You really are. But you never wanted to show your power. Instead, you wanted to work with them. You wanted to work with your constituents. You wanted to work with your oppressor. And you have the nerve to come to me with this why. I believe it was Marcus, not Marcus Garvey. It was Frederick Bailey, aka Frederick Douglass, said it best, and I'm paraphrasing. I rather teach young men than to teach broken men.
All right now. It doesn't get better than that. I like it. It doesn't get better than that.
I prayed all every day and I got nothing done until I got up off my knees.
I think that's something else that has been lost as well. People believing in a higher power. And I think that things were a little better when you wanted to come together for a common cause. Just about everybody in that circle would be involved in a higher power. Like he was talking about how people do. Well, America is well known for going to other countries and taking over. You think about it. As soon as these missionaries get to these other countries, they start teaching these people their idea of theology. Okay, they changed the way that people look at the religion they've known and heard of their whole life. Who are you to decide my religion is any better than your religion? And that is something that this country is known for. How are you going to bomb my cities and then drop food down to feed me? How does that make sense? You're killing us, but you want to feed us. You want to sit up here and be a bully by using your superpower as a country against people. You will come out and acknowledge point blank simple, no messing around the bush or anything, that if I can't have Greenland, I'll just take it. I want this change. So I'll just change the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. Why do you get to change it? Who are you? Who are you to threaten other countries if you don't do smaller countries that don't have the weapons that we have? Because what? America doesn't allow everyone to have equal opportunity. And when we look at these things, a lot of times we're looking at things just one-sided, one part of it, but it's so much more to it. And one of the ways that we can do things about that is vote for the Jasmine Crockett's, promote the Jasmine Crockett's, support the Jasmine Crockett's. Okay, if it's not her, then there's somebody out here that's her male counterpart or similar her. You don't like her? Why don't you take the time to see if there's someone you do like out there? Because several years ago, you didn't hear about Jasmine Crockett. Ask yourself, why are you hearing about her now?
Speaking of which, you got some time?
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to make time tonight.
That's not where my training came from, right? Exactly. So the fact that you take a podcaster and you make him over the FBI, the fact that you take a wrestling woman and you make her over education. I mean, I do want people to recognize what's happening. Or
what she's doing when she said, just because you get an athlete, she's talking about Linda McMahon. See what Trump has done. He's taken, there are at least 8 billionaires that he's appointed to these different things. Like, she's over the board of education. So she's making all the decisions at this time. When they dismantled the Board of Education recently, that was Linda McMahon. When she's sitting up here saying, oh, the weekend newscaster, she's talking about Heseth, I believe. When you sit up here and you have somebody like Patel, that is head of the FBI, but he's never worked in the FBI, but yet he's fired people that are 10 times more qualified than him. When you have people like Pam Bundy, who is Attorney General, which is the highest legal office in the country. The smaller IGs are big, but the top AG, and she's sitting here saying she has a list on her desk, but all of a sudden she doesn't. Then when people call her out, you misunderstood me. Well, that's what our technology has. Once you put it out there, somebody's recorded it. It's out there forever. So now how do you explain it? When you sit up and you take Griswold and put her in a country club that normally you don't have people of a sexual crime nature in that federal prison, tell me who pulled that string. Tell me why she should get out, and she participated in sexual acts. She actually participated with minors, but yet they locked this man up over here for a little over 4 years for something adults were doing. One adult even said in an email, "Oh, I'm so ready for a freak off." Oh, but you don't like them though. But you're ready for one. Sounds like you like it to me.
Only has to pay off a $500,000 fine.
Yeah.
Once he gets out.
I don't see why he should have to pay that, seeing that they did him unfairly. Like I said, they let Epstein out. They're fighting for Epstein, so why not fight for Diddy? Oh, I understand.
Check this out. This is going to be quite interesting, right?
Yes.
Because they were talking about Diddy the other day to Trump. And if he pardons Diddy, you're going to have the right just have a frenzy with the left.
Mm-mm.
But if he doesn't bail him out, it just goes to show you that I'm better than you. Yeah. Even though you're a billionaire and I'm a billionaire, I have more money than you, and I have more leverage than you.
That's why they say the rich. That is why from little small children, you think about, from a little child, the people of privilege, they get the things that you cannot. A rule can be a rule, but not for the privilege. That's what it's all about. That's part of it. Oh, well, my daddy's a judge, and my daddy will have your job. And my George, what? He'll come in, and Mr. So-and-so will no longer be there.
But Donald Trump never had to earn anything.
That's right. His Daddy-O, gave him, what was it, $1 million? And he screwed it up. Then he went back to his father. Any type of anything assistance his father gave him, he was a screw up. I thought when Trump ran the first time, I was like, I didn't take it seriously. I was like, nobody's going to believe that fool. No, it's no way that somebody would listen to Trump. OMG. Oh my God, when they said he was elected president, I thought I was in an alternate universe. You have to be kidding me. They did not. I mean, I was flabbergasted. And the fact that he's been allowed, all the Cash Patels, all of the Black people, all the people like this young man talking about what you're going to do for your grandkids or your great-grandchildren and stuff. What have you done in your lifetime to secure the future for yours? See, when people come up on these panels and stuff, they really don't know anything about you. They don't know what you have or you do not have. And to sit up and assume that a person has not made any preparation, yeah, there are plenty of us that don't have life insurance, but there are plenty of us that sacrifice immensely to make sure we have insurance so that the loved ones left behind don't have to sit up and worry about how are we going to get him seen about? How are we going to get her
seen?
There's
a reason. There is a specific reason why you have life insurance, my man. A specific reason why you have life insurance. And it builds over time with years and years and years, depending on how much you put in there, depending on how much you put in a trust fund, depending on how much you put in a Crossco's account. Your bonds matter. When you let them develop that over time.
These places, from my understanding, that offer assistance, what I was told, because I asked the girl, I was in the store and she was using her card, and I was asking her, I said, yeah, what do you have to do to get those cards? How do you get them? And she was like, well, you fill out an application and they ask you just some of the questions, like, do you have a burial plot? Are you serious? Do you have any stocks? Do you have any bonds? Do you own a car? She was just telling me stuff that is unreal to me, that these people want to know about your life just to give you a little something. That a little something, when you finish with it, is gone. Trump is talking about, well, I read this. It hasn't been confirmed. So let me just say allegedly.
Allegedly.
yes, allegedly, a big allegedly, that there's supposed to be another stimulus bigger than the last stimulus. I'm not saying Trump's above that. If he really sees he's losing a grip, he may do it. But once again, when the Supreme Court gave him immunity for the things that did not fall under that umbrella of immunity, he sat up and he would file an appeal that would go straight to the Supreme Court and they would rule in his favor. So it's a win-win for him.
Donald Trump.
Right. I mean, tell me if I sign a warrant for your arrest because you didn't come to court or you didn't pay Jeannie Carroll. You know, there was a lawsuit with a lady named Jeannie Carroll up in New York, right around the time that Letitia James had Trump indicted. And this was of a sexual nature, this lawsuit. And she proved her case and she was found to be in the right and Trump was found to be guilty. And he had to pay her several $1 million. And the funny part was he didn't have the money. So he was going to different people because it was a big thing on the different news channels. Where could he get that amount of money from? He couldn't go to the creditors that he already owes and pays because, you know, why would they? Why would you sit up and want to ask me for some help knowing how you are? Well, I'm going to need that money now. And if it was me, if it was Lisa, man, I would run to the bank, cash that money, and put it up until we needed to go pay it. Because otherwise, I'd be afraid that he would cancel the check. Because he's low down like that.
Yes, of course. You know how many people he owes? You know how many people has sued him?
Yeah, you know, Goldman and Sachs put him out. Goldman and Sachs say, look, we're about that money. And you don't have that money. Matter of fact, you owe us.
Don't own. You know, he has a building with his name on it that he doesn't own. The corporations own his building. It says Trump. You literally see it. You see his name, but he doesn't own that building. Make that make sense.
It doesn't, because one thing that tell me, look, you had Michael Cohen, a former attorney of Donald Trump's, that took the rap and went to prison for Donald Trump. He actually did like 2 years of prison time because of Trump. And Trump didn't look at him like he was loyal, that he did something to save him. Shoot, Trump turned his nose up at him like he hadn't did anything. And you can't give that time back to that man. Those days, weeks, months, years, you can't get them back. I don't care what you say. Nobody can get the time back. I don't care who you are. You can't get that time back.
Speaking of time, we're running out.
Yeah. All righty then.
I want to thank you for even taking the time to deal with my nonsense.
It wasn't your nonsense.
I know, but usually I don't have panel. I don't have panels like that unless I'm talking to somebody white, which hasn't been a while.
You asked him that? Didn't you allude to something like that?
I plead the fifth, but I would have to go, and I would have to finish.
Are you
this.
Sure, sir? Sir, are you sure you don't want to answer that question?
I have to go ahead and call. I will call you tomorrow, and you have a very blessed day. And get some sleep. You need your rest in the morning because you got a little project going on, and you got. All right.
All right, dear. Thank you for having me.
Not a problem. Not a
Maybe we can
problem.
do it again.
Oh Lord Jesus. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna need a drink after this.
Well, I'm getting ready to go get me one. Yeah.
Oh,
I've got a
cool.
couple of them sitting in there nice and cold. I actually have a couple bottled ones this time.
Go ahead and say it.
Dr. Pepper.
Black community.
I think that's just precious. That's what it's about. Everything, all of this, that's what it's about. It's about our children. And unfortunately, some children will not know what some other ones will. They will be blindsided. I know, look at you. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Bye. Well, you got yourself. Let me see. Let me help you out. Well, that was railroaded, but we did pretty good for the most part. But let me play. I'll tell you what. I'm gonna play just a few minutes of this, and then we'll just tally all this to bed.
All these Fox News hosts and throwing them into, like you played a judge for a while on TV or something, and so now you the U.S. attorney prosecuting people. Like, I mean, it is absolutely insane.
We laugh, but that's a real thing that's out here happening in the United States of America.
These are very real things. When we see what is happening at the Department of Transportation, when we see all these near misses, when we see that we are constantly plagued with planes being down and not.
Okay.
It's absolutely insane.
We laugh, but that's a real thing that's out here happening in the United States of America.
These are very real things. When we see what is happening at the Department of Transportation, when we see all these near misses, when we see that we are constantly plagued with planes being down and not being able to take off. I mean, we've gotten to the point that, people are not connecting the dots in that they are intentionally trying to dumb down and reduce the amount of so they are loose. So I'm gonna just throw random people in, and they are putting us all in harm's way. And I need people to understand that your whiteness save you from some of the hell that we are experiencing, whether it is the tariffs and the cost, whether it is the economy and the lack of jobs. You have to decide when you are going to say, you know what, forget everything else. I just want, actually, as I'm a Democrat, I'm saying this because I literally gave a speech at the DNC where I talked about how one had a resume and the other one had a rap sheet. Mm-hmm. And in the real world, you put those two resumes down for any job, whether it's at Walmart or Target, which we, whether you put it down for one of the two, I can tell you which one not gonna get the job.
Speaking of resumes, and some people do not know that you are a former elected official as well. And we all know as people who have run for office that the results that you have are what you have to put up to the voters when you want to run for re-election. And under the current administration, prices are higher than they've ever been. Inflation is higher than it was before he got into office. Everything that he promised is going in the opposite direction. And so he's feeling a little worried about his ability to hang on to the majority. I want you to respond to what's happening with the Texas gerrymander, but if there's anything else you want to add to that.
Well, I just want to say, first I want to say I ran in 2020 for city council and thing, but now that the transparency that we are getting is right in front of people, blatant saying
number on the jobs and you decide, you know what, never mind, let me just fire the person that released the numbers, not when you have a DOJ website that ends up deleting these FBI statistics around who it is that is committing this violent crime. Like, they are not being transparent whatsoever. The fact that this administration has engaged in, and I'm not even gonna say the administration, this president himself has engaged in somehow putting a lot of money in his pocket, and we don't fully understand how. We don't know where he is engaged in business dealings. We don't have full disclosure on his cryptocurrency. Like, it is the absolute opposite of transparency, but the corruption is on full display. He has decided that he wants seats. He wants to take those seats at a cost to people of color having real representation, people of color that will potentially lay out and fight for that person that has lost the hope, right? I have a lot of people like that in my district, where I have one of the highest incarceration rates in the entire state of Texas, but I also have one of the highest poverty rates in the state of Texas as well. And so, yeah, there are people that it doesn't matter if the Democrats are in control.
And we all know when it comes to high poverty comes crime. Come poverty comes crime.
Or the Republicans are in control, nothing ever happens for them. And those are the people that say, well, what's the difference? Both parties are the same.
Well, what is the difference? What is the difference? Why are you, Jasmine Crockett, a Democrat?
Well,
no, seriously, what is the difference? Why are you a Democrat?
Now you asking me an existential question.
No, yeah.
What people need to understand is that there is no perfect party, right? And it's a matter of which one do you more align with. I align with this idea that we don't grow from the top down, but that we grow from the bottom up, and that everybody in this country is supposed to have an opportunity. And what does opportunity look like? Well, what did I say the key to freedom was? It is education. Whatever that education looks like. Again, not someone that says you got to go and get a 4-year degree and be bogged down with it. Right? It can be a trade. It can be all the things, right? But like, it is education in my mind that can move you forward. And what makes us so different and so unique in this country is that it's supposed to be, no matter where you came from, no matter what your background is, you can too become the richest person in the world. That is what we are supposed to be able to have. And there are certain people that have decided that there will not be an American dream, but nothing but American nightmares for certain groups of people. And so I don't side with that. I side with this idea of opportunity, whether that looks like you just have this vision of this business that you want to start. How do you access capital, right? Or whether it is recognizing the harm to, say, Black folk. Like, I am believing in real freedom and liberation for all people. And so, call me a little green or a little too optimistic, but I believe in the American dream. I do. That thing that makes other people, not like my people, but other people decide that they will risk their lives to come over here because there is an opportunity here for them and their family. I believe in that, like, wholeheartedly. I believe that it shouldn't be a matter of Nepo babies like the ones sitting in the White House are the only ones that have opportunities because somebody is giving you everything. You got everything given to you and you still can't pronounce names of things that you want to sit up here and tell everybody they can't use because it's going to hurt you or hurt your baby. I can't. They want to call me everything but a child of God, and they looking at this bumbling fool who can't pronounce acetaminophen.
He can't.
Like,
he was on the struggle. He's on the struggle bus.
And the fact that your staff, they know you stupid. So why your staff didn't say, now, sir, now this word, they know they needed to spell it out phonetically for him to help him out, or they should have just told him stick to Tylenol.
This is why we got to fund. This is why we got to fund the schools. So I want to talk about two.
That was too funny. Yeah, Donald Trump has the nerve to say that he has a high IQ. Yeah, a high IQ is stupidity. Well, this is We-On-Loc Nation. This is We-On-Loc Nation, and I'm saying, yeah, vote for whoever you want to vote for. Believe what you ever want to believe. I think Jasmine Crockett is well versed in the English language, and she is well dedicated to her district. But again, why not? Why take over a state per se? Per se, we don't know if this is going to be true or not. Maybe it could be true. Maybe it could. But I'm just saying, why take over a state that is red when you can take over the whole globe, which is your oyster, and become the president of the United States 3 years from now, 7 years from now, 10 years from now? You never know. We will never know until we what? Try. I want to thank everyone for coming. Thank you for coming out. God bless you. Good night.